Hello, my name is Shadley and welcome back, or rather welcome to a brand new series of Aurora 4X. Currently on the version, where do we see that? Miscellaneous 1.11. I'm technically playing it modded. It's mostly the UI mod, just so that I'll have the autosaves going on, so if something goes wrong, at least I'll have some save. I think there was an autosave right there. Right then. So, first of all, the musics are from the Workers and Resources Soviet Republic game, because this entire playthrough is kind of the spiritual continuation of the playthrough that I've been streaming on lately of that particular game. And the idea is, or the basic lore behind this is that in our university, or one of our universities, the scientists made perhaps an accidental breakthrough in science. They discovered the trans-Newtonian technology, all the elements, and then somehow opened a wormhole that transported our entire republic onto an entirely different planet on a different galaxy. And that's why we are here, and we got our new sun here. Technically we got two suns here, and we're actually orbiting the second one here. So the goal for this series is going to be expanding and taking over the galaxy. The galaxy should have about 250 systems. We are not using the real stars, which is, I mean, we're in a different galaxy, so it wouldn't really make sense. But, yeah, we do have the precursors and swarms, and there might be some non-player races at some point. The chance of finding them is actually the default, so we'll probably run into them early enough. We are starting essentially conventional, but with the trans-Newtonian technology, just so that we don't need to wait for that to be researched. And speaking of economy and all that, we only have 10 million in population, so it's not great in all fairness, but I'm sure that we'll be able to get it growing rather quickly here. And I actually do have a plan, like, after this episode, we're not going to pass any time in this episode. We're going to go through the basics and set up the initial research. We only have 2 research labs, by the way, so that's going to be a bit of an issue, I reckon. We'll expand. Well, we're starting small, but our goal is to then take over the entire galaxy, like expand until we have no path to expand to. And yeah, destroy the swarm and precursors, and then there's also the new enemies, or the non-NPRs. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. I haven't encountered them yet, but the name starts with R. It's basically armies on planets that usually have plenty of resources. But let's have a quick look at what we have. So we've got 45 conventional industry. It's not great. It's better than nothing. We got some 2 research facilities. We got a ground force construction complex, maintenance facility, only 1, so that's not terrible, particularly good. But it will at least provide a tiny bit of maintenance supplies for when we actually start building ships, which we don't have shipyards yet. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge as well. Then we do have a tracking station. We got Academy, Naval Headquarters, and Spaceport. I figure that by 2050 our nation would have had some sort of spaceport available. I mean, that's not technically in the Workers and Resources game a thing yet, but maybe at some point it might be. And, like, we're not going strictly according to that game anyway. But yeah, that's our stuff here. We've got a decent bit of resources to go with, and if we have a look at our mining, we've got pretty good amounts of resources in here, so that will last us for quite a while. With the current speed, it's going to last over 1,000 years, all of them, but it will speed up quite quickly, so that's not numbers that you want to go with. But we'll look at that later on then again. But yeah, we got a decent bit of resources that we can use, and then industrial capacity is rather low, but we'll get that going higher soon enough. We'll probably start converting some... Actually, well, I suppose we can start with that. Convert some of these to construction factories. We'll start with 5. It will take some time, but each one of those will speed up the production capabilities quite significantly. Then we'll have to set up some mines and more factories and so forth. We're gonna have to shuffle around them a little bit, but that shouldn't really be an issue. Then on research, we do have power and propulsion researcher, and frankly, I want to get the engine technology going as quickly as possible, so we'll set up this researcher, Larissa Belova, will be doing the pressurized water reactor, and after that we'll get the nuclear thermal engines, and then we'll probably even design the engines. Then after that we do need to get the geosurvey sensors and all that sort of stuff, so it's going to be quite a bit of things that we need to do. But I don't think it's necessarily a huge issue. We could start training some crown units, but we haven't designed any, so that's not really a thing that we can do. Our well is not going to be brilliant. Oh, and another thing that we have, which I didn't mention at the start of the episode here, is we do not have the civilian shipping activated. Mostly because we're playing as a communist country. A bit of a dictatorship, I suppose. But yeah, therefore we don't have like private ownership. Therefore it doesn't really make sense to have the... But maybe at some point during the playthrough we might switch that around. If doing things manually gets a bit too hard. And speaking of logistics, I do have an idea that I will be doing. And it's basically, I'll have tugs doing all the logistics. Like, I'll have containers for cargo and fuel and colonists and troops and such. And basically, the tugs will be our space trucks, which will be transporting stuff around. For the most part, anyway. And yeah, our environment is pretty close to Earth. We actually have a bit higher gravity, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. It should say somewhere around here. Is it in the summary? It could be in the summary. Yes, we got 1.59 gravity, which is a bit higher. So we can actually have bloody massive population in this. We are an archipelago planet because, well, in the current playthrough we are basically on an archipelago map. It's a bit of a mess of a map, to be fair. But yeah, that's about it for that. So we started producing that. I suppose I could set up the mines to be converted as well, and then a bit more construction factories. And maybe we'll get some fuel refineries and financial centers. So how much that would be? That would be 25 out of the 45. So we'll create 10 of those and 10 of these. At some point we do need to build a lot more things, but that will take some time. Now, next thing, I think we may need to go through some positions here. So I will actually... Oh no, let's not select that. Let's select some of these, because we need to figure out someone to take over the governing ship of our home planet here. So, production, population growth. Oh, they do not overlap at all. I mean, the production isn't particularly good. Okay, you got both mining and production, so I think you're probably our best option here now. I'm going to assign you there. And again, the purpose of the series is also going to be a bit less edited, so that it's easier to kind of follow up what's going on and kind of follow up what I'm thinking on how I'm doing things. But there is going to be a time skip of 10 years between this episode and the next one. And for the 10 years gap, we will increase our research, production and population growth by 25%. And after that, we'll then take it out again. It's just to speed things up a little bit so we don't spend too long here in our new system, which we do need to explore a little bit at some point. Right, so we've got that one set up. I believe we may need to set up some officers to take over the Naval Admin Command. Let's actually have a look. Crew training wouldn't be bad. Then survey. You got 120. Well, yeah, I'm gonna assign you if I can. I'm assuming that I can. Yep, okay, there we go. So assign someone for that admin command, and actually, if we have a look at the admin commands, we only have that one right now. We may set up a survey command and a few other commands like training and such under this main one at some point. We'll probably do that during the time skip though, so we don't want to waste too much time in here. So if we have a look at a little bit the system here, so we actually do have a moon. Well, actually we can probably open this. So that's the primary, and it has a few planets and several moons. And then the B has a gas giant, which hopefully has some, well, it has quite a few moons. So hopefully there's some nice minerals in there, and I do hope that it has thorium. If it doesn't, then we may be in trouble. And then there's a couple more planets, especially the inner planets here. There is actually one planet that is colonizable. It's a bit cold. It does have some oxygen already. Let's actually have a look. Probably doesn't have well, it might just have enough oxygen actually. No, it doesn't have breathable atmosphere though. So no, I think we need to get more oxygen in there. Oh yeah, so it can at most be 30% oxygen and needs to be at least 0.1 atmosphere. At most 0.3, because we are humans after all. But that is a good potential location that we can colonize in this system. And then there's another one over here that has, well, it doesn't have an atmosphere. It's a bit cold, but if we can get an atmosphere there, then it might be possible to colonize that as well. And that might be a good place to have a, well, depending where the jump points are going to be, I'm assuming that there's going to be some at least. Although I don't actually know. Well, if there isn't, then we'll just add in some in this space master mode, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, actually, I don't think there's a massive amount of things that we need to worry about right now. Like, if we have a look at our nation here, I do have the Soviet flag right now, and I haven't edited the numbers here yet, but I will do this or that after the episode. And of course we have no ground units whatsoever. We don't even have any of the units designed, so that's something that will take quite a bit of effort at some point. But I do have like plans to have from company level all the way to like army groups and such. And I'll try to keep about 3 layers of the units, like active units. So once I start going beyond like division level, then the company levels at least will be obsolete and it will just be battalions. And I do actually have the kind of the tonnages that I have planned for them up on my Discord, which you can find the link down below. And I'll probably share quite a bit of plans ahead of time there as well. So while if you join there, you might get some spoilers. I'll try not to spoil too much though. But yeah, we have basically piss poor technology right now, but as soon as we can get the engines going, because we do actually have pretty good research on that right now, like 20% extra, plus once we get the 25% extra from for the 10 years, for a giant leap forward in our civilization, after we have a new planet to explore and populate. I think that would be a realistic boom for the population. Now we do have energy. Ooh, we actually got some pretty good defensive system researchers as well, and decent sensors as well, construction and production. So we actually got pretty lucky with our starting scientists here, and that's not too bad at all. Now, since we don't have a shipyard, that's something that we're gonna have to build, and that's probably gonna be built only after the 2060, in which we will have run out of the modifier. It'll take some time, but at the same time, in the C# version of Aurora, the time runs rather quickly. At least when you're not trying to run 8 nations and a combined fleet of over 1,500 ships. It usually runs pretty smoothly, especially early on. But anyway, I think I will end this episode here. So tomorrow we're gonna have a 10-year skip done, and I'll explain a little bit what happened during that time, and then we'll start progressing time regularly and go with the about 25-minute episodes usually. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye bye.